Welcome to the Creatively Challenged podcast, where we talk entertainment news and random topics we bring to this not $34 card table because we were down in Mike's parents' basement because it's officially summer. It's the first weekend of summer. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm one of your hosts, Danny Stewart. Ryan couldn't be here today. Some shit was going on, and it's just me and Mike. But seated across from me is Mike Stuglis. Mike, how are you?
I'm okay.
He's just okay.
I've been through 12 hour. No. Hold on. 22 hours. Yeah, 22 hours of car rides in the past half week. So
Yeah.
4 days.
Yeah,
So
you
I'm
were
okay.
up there. You were gone for a long time. I was kind of bored without you on most occasions the last 2 weeks that we've been home from school.
When I wasn't inebriated, I was also bored.
Yeah. But today we are continuing with this podcast. I'll do my quote really quick here. I be Captain Barbosa and you be Captain Salazar the Spaniard. That is a quote from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, that we have a review for later on in this podcast. But we're going to start like we normally do with news. Mike, what's news topic number one?
News topic number one is the official trailer, not the teaser, not the sigils, not Jon Snow, Cersei, and Daenerys walking down the halls. The official trailer for Season 7 of Game of Thrones is dropped. What'd you think, bud?
I love this trailer because it didn't really show anything. There were quick flashes of kind of like all the main characters and kind of showing briefly what's going on while not giving away what the plot is. And I really enjoyed it. One of my good friends, Luke Costco, he'll get a quick shout out here, thought the trailer sucked because it did that. And I said, Luke, you're not very educated on trailers because trailers are not supposed to show you everything. So that is why I like this trailer, because it didn't show a lot. You had Cersei Lannister kind of narrating the trailer, saying enemies to every fucking direction on the compass, showing quick flashes of who those enemies were. And it's the Starks and the Targaryens and everybody just fucking teaming up. You saw quick flashes of all the good guys. You know, you got Sansa and Jon, and it was just a really great trailer. What did you think?
Did you catch the quick snap of Jon going after Baelish in the tombs?
Yes. I only watched it a couple of times. I didn't really break it down in depth. I just kind of saw it on the Twitter feed and got what I got from it. What I really liked was Daenerys returning to Westeros and just kind of seeing that. I think that's going to be a very powerful scene when that comes in July. So there's a lot to be excited for, and we'll see.
I think this trailer was literally a trailer for maybe like the first 2 episodes, and then they showed a battle, which will probably be the end of the season. So I think we just did. They didn't show a lot, but I think it was very expositional intentionally. And, I mean, you don't have to sell us on Game of Thrones at this point.
No.
You could have showed 2 more teasers, and I still would have seen the
exactly.
season.
I mean, and they didn't even show any of the White Walkers either. But we saw, like, Hung Tormund and Jon kind of running through snow. And you assume that's kind of going to be during a battle with the White Walkers. So there's a lot to do in 7 episodes. And, that was just brief flashes, and it's going to be a very exciting season. I'm highly looking forward to it.
Shorter, but I think it's going to be faster paced, they said, too. I'm not one of the people that are super bummed that it's shorter because I just trust the show, and I heard some of the episodes might be longer, too, so.
Yeah, I mean, with 7 episodes here, you're kind of skipping the first, 3 or 4 episodes of a season of Game of Thrones anyway, where it's all just talking and not a lot of action happens. So I think we're going to be action-packed here from the start to the finish, and it's just going to be a great season.
Yeah, agreed. Our next bit of news is, I usually hand it off to you, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Zack Snyder has had a family tragedy, and he has to step away from the current movie that he's directing, the Justice League, and to replace him is the Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron director Josh Whedon. And, Josh Whedon is credited on a lot of things, and he's basically going to oversee as director till this project is finished. Personally, I feel like most of this movie is done anyway. I feel like they're doing polishing up on edits and special effects, I don't think it would be. I doubt they're still shooting scenes unless it's just re-edits with the actors. What do you think?
Yeah, this could be. They're probably in like near post production, if not vastly approaching it. But I don't think any of those actors are prepared to film, like any new scenes unless they are reshoots. But at this point in time, as a director, you really don't want to overhaul anything. And Joss Whedon, although he is a great director, and I'm happy with what he's done with the Avengers. This isn't a total overhaul. Like, this isn't the biggest news in Hollywood right now because Zack Snyder's just got a family emergency, and prayers with his family. Hope everything's okay. I mean, he wanted to stay, but then eventually left. So this guy's heart is in directing these films, and there's extensive circumstances to where he had to leave. So, but Joss Whedon, if he does stay for a long amount of time, they're probably going to start production on Justice League 2 probably at around this time next year because they're planning for a 2019 release. So
is the Batman supposed to come? No, that's been scrapped right now. They don't have an official
they don't have an
date.
official release date on the Batman. I think Aquaman is supposed to be
next
early 2018, and then Justice League 2 was supposed to be like 2019, and some like later 2018 is supposed to be like Flash and Batman. But it doesn't seem like the Batman's moving forward, though the Flash is. So I don't know. The DC universe is a shit show. Like, we've talked about it before. But, Joss Whedon's he's handled the superhero films correctly so far with what he's done. But this isn't,
It's not anything to get super stressed over. I don't think it's going to change the tone. I just feel like he's going to – and Zack Snyder is going to have his input, I think. I mean, not heavily, but if you ask him for advice, I bet he'll give him some. So, I mean, really, my thoughts go out to Zack Snyder, but I don't find this as troubling as maybe some others do because – this is the point where they should be just putting up some finishing touches and doing little fixes here and there because the movie comes out in December or November, so it's not that far away.
No, and as much as kind of the DC, well, we don't know for sure. I mean, the first two DC, I say two, I mean, like Man of Steel, I almost don't count, even though like it is, but it's not. But like BVS and Suicide Squad, like. They need the overhaul with Joss Whedon, but that's not going to happen. But there's excitement. Wonder Woman comes out next week, and that's the movie review we're going to do on next week's podcast. But that movie seems awesome, but it's still something that we have to keep our eyes out on. Because I think at this point in time, Wonder Woman's got to be the make or break movie for the cinematic franchise.
I also think that this move by bringing Whedon in, I think he's closer to DC and Warner Brothers than we think. He's been rumored to direct a Catwoman movie or something like that. So I something tells me that he's in ties with them, and this might be just a stepping stone for him getting a directing job in the future because you wouldn't just you bring in someone who's been close to production. Something tells me he knows what's going on behind the scenes probably.
Well, maybe, maybe he's been involved with this project all along. Maybe Zack Snyder's like, hey, we kind of fucked up BVS. Like, can you help me make this movie about teaming up superheroes because you did it for the Avengers and did it well? And though, like, Avengers 2 wasn't as good as the first one, like, it still kind of gave everybody the screen time they needed and balanced superhero roles well when there's a ton of them in one movie at the same time. So Joss Whedon is very knowledgeable in how to do that successfully. So to have him around is a very good thing. And maybe they did that just because, like, he did do so successfully at Marvel with the Avengers film. So maybe it's just an advice thing. Maybe he's actually, like, in the project and has friends at DC, or was just straight up asked if he wanted to do it anyway. We won't know. That stuff probably won't come out public, but whatever it happens, I hope he gets a good hand on any project, even though it's kind of in unfortunate circumstances for Zack Snyder. All right. We're done with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll move into the next news topic. That is The Witcher. It's a video game franchise. The Witcher 3 is the most recent release, and that came out like last year or the year before for next-gen consoles, PS4, Xbox One. But they are getting a Netflix show. Now, usually the way it's gone in the past is video games turned into movies. Doesn't really happen a lot. But here we are again on this podcast talking about Netflix picking up something that could be really cool. And the way Netflix has gone so far over the last year or two to their fucking growth level, they've been like almightily successful in making shit cool. So to take a great video game like The Witcher 3, like I just got a Game Informer magazine at the beginning of this month, and The Witcher 3 was in like the top 10 RPGs of all time. Of all time. Like it was rated higher than like Final Fantasy VII and like World of Warcraft was one, but like still, I mean, to be kind of in the same conversation.
For people that don't know, The Witcher is about. I haven't played the games, but I really want to. But I believe it's about these guys who go and they take down like I don't know if it's dark magic or like evil. Creatures, creatures is probably the word because they fight obviously like witches and sorcerers
like
and
dragons,
cool shit. Cool shit like that.
Crazy
and
shit.
With what Netflix has done with Stranger Things in the fantasy genre, I think this show has potential to be really cool if they level a story over visual effects. And I think because it's a show and it's not gonna, unless you have a Game of Thrones budget, your effects are gonna be, not amazing. And I think the show could end up being really, really cool. And especially Netflix can take their own R rating, and you have shows that are fantasies like Once Upon a Time on TV, and there's some others, Sleepy Hollow, and they aren't always. Some of them are celebrated, but I think this can be really celebrated if you're able to really explore the fantasy genre and take the cuffs off.
Well, and with video games too. I mean,
because these games are violent too, from what I understand.
And the way video games have gone in the past, like I'm a gamer, the video game movie genre is shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, they haven't really made anyone's there are some like iconic roles like Angelina Jolie as Tomb Raider, but that movie's not good.
They're remaking it with Alicia Vikander.
With Alicia Vikander, yeah. Saw that. But still, like, I just, the way they make games now is that they can kind of stand on their own. Like, they have their own cinematics in the game. Cutscenes, and they make them so that these games have their own rich full-telling story that's interactive because you get to play it. I don't shoot these down, necessarily right away because they're interesting. Like, I went and saw the Ratchet and Clank movie, and I enjoyed some of it because, I'm a Ratchet and Clank fan. I played those games when I was a kid, and I saw that movie, and then I played some of the new Ratchet and Clank game that they remastered on PS4, and literally like I'd say more than half of the cutscenes in the game were the movie itself.
Yeah, that's just sloppy.
Yeah, so I was just like fucking pissed like after I found that out, and I was just like, okay, literally you're using cutscenes from the game in the movie.
Well, and this doesn't have to be an exact translation to screen.
No, because I don't even think the game production company is involved.
Yeah, so it just has to be like a soft homage almost. Same universe, basically. Yeah. And that's what really excites me is games are long and movies you got to crunch all of this stuff into a period of time. If you make a 13-episode season, you could explain one story and, keep this going. I just think the potential, like a 13-hour game and a 13-hour show, they match up pretty well for how you can explain a story. And that's really, I think this project really has a lot of potential. And I actually got really excited, even though I haven't played them, because I'm like, this is this is the successful model that could work.
Yeah, this could open a door. I mean, this is what people are waiting on. I think this is what giant companies are waiting on to see if this could work. Because other than that, in kind of ramblings and stuff like that, like Disney wants to move forward with, since the popularity of Kingdom Hearts has rose over the past couple of months with the new releases and the hype for Kingdom Hearts 3. Disney apparently is sitting on a Kingdom Hearts show, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, why didn't they do this kind of in 2002 when like the original game came out? But I guess it's because of the popularity now and it's introducing more. But I guess that's kind of down low in the dark depths of Disney, and that might never reach it out. But maybe it all comes back to this Witcher show to see if the video game genre can work more with a television season rather than a movie. And I'm rooting for it. So maybe this could be a huge opening for video games, and maybe a TV show is better for them than movies.
Mm-hmm. Totally agreed. Speaking of
video game movies,
the Uncharted series has finally found their Nathan Drake for a film. Uncharted is about, I guess, a treasure hunter, Nathan Drake, and he is like Indiana Jones. He goes to find in the first game he goes to El Dorado, and these are very celebrated games, and it is now being turned into a movie. My guess is it'd be a lot like Indiana Jones, because that's what the games are like, an adventurer. And Tom Holland, Spider-Man, has been cast as the lead, Nathan Drake. Personally, I am playing the Uncharted games right now. I'm a little behind. They're fantastic, and Nathan Drake seems to be a guy in about his 30s. So Tom Holland was an interesting choice because he's a little younger. He's 20.
Yeah.
So some people might be like, oh, he's too young. But again, it doesn't have to be a verbatim translation to the screen. And I think Tom Holland has the look of Nathan Drake, and I definitely think he has the charisma. And I just think this is spot on casting, and I got really excited. I still probably don't want to. I'm not a fan of video games getting turned into movies. Yeah. I'm still sticking to that. But if they're gonna hire, originally it was rumored Chris Pratt and other guys like that. But then,
he would have been good. But...
Yeah, he said he didn't want it, which I thought was a pretty good choice. And but Tom Holland, I think he's a fantastic choice, especially because he's an up and comer, and this might be another opportunity for him to play an iconic role if he's able to translate it pretty well.
And with this casting, like you said, with the Uncharted series, Drake is like in his 30s, kind of like late 20s, and Holland's like our age. He's a young kid. So with this, they might, in the 90s, they had like these Indiana Jones like cartoons where he's like a younger kid and he gets into this stuff. This might be another story, because like we were saying in the past segment, video games hold up as like, half cinematics, half gameplay nowadays. Like they hold up their own. So this could just be a unique story that counts as canon in the Uncharted series and everything like that, which is a really,
I didn't even think
really
about that.
Interesting take, because it's a younger Drake. Maybe this is like his start or something.
It could be like
that.
how he meets Sully, his partner in the series.
Yeah, so this could just be like taking the same universe, taking the characters, and giving it an introduction that kind of wasn't touched upon in the games. So this is really cool. This could also be another huge gap for video games, just kind of taking an era that wasn't, played through in the games or anything like that, and bringing that to the big screen or a television show, if we're going to talk about The Witcher. But I think that's very interesting. If that's the take they do with it, then that'd be great. But, Uncharted is one of Sony's biggest titles. It's a PlayStation exclusive, and they're coming off of the Ratchet and Clank movie, which was just
like
cutscenes. So Sony is involved with this project because Uncharted is one of their huge franchises, and casting Tom Holland is a great move. Now let's just see what they can do with this story and see if they can make a good movie.
The reason I think he fits the role so well is because he's got the ability to be a badass while also be humorous, which is literally what Nathan Drake is. He's quick and witty and sarcastic as fuck, but he also can beat the shit out of you. And I think if Tom Holland beefs up a little bit, I could see him as a young Nathan Drake. Again, like I said, all for this casting, but
which he's already kind of done for Spider-Man.
Exactly.
And we saw Tom Holland in The Lost City of Z. We saw Tom Holland for like 15 to 20 minutes in Captain America Civil War as Spider-Man already. But this upcoming Spider-Man Homecoming in July, this will be his first like 2-hour film almost
As the lead.
like as the lead. So we'll see how he does. I mean, I trust him. The Spider-Man movie, like Marvel's not going to fuck up Spider-Man. They can't at this point, with the Spider-Man character. So I'm excited. He'll be fine. But to see what kind of take that Sony and whatever production company is making it, then we'll see what kind of story they're taking. But I trust Tom Holland. That's great casting, and we can be excited for this. We'll see if video game movies can kind of make it out.
Yeah, I hope so.
Now, the next piece of news is the Wind River trailer, which came out earlier today or yesterday or something like that.
It was like yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that. But yeah, if for those of you guys who don't know what Wind River is, it is about an FBI agent played by Elizabeth Olsen, who teams up with the town's veteran game hunter, played by Jeremy Renner, to investigate a murder that happens on an Indian reservation. And it is written and directed by the writer of maybe arguably two of the most acclaimed movies of the past couple of years, Hell or High Water and Sicario. And this movie's been at a couple of film festivals. It was at Sundance, and it currently is at Cannes. Yeah, Cannes. My pronunciation, great. And what was I gonna say? And Taylor Sheridan, the writer and director, won the Best Director prize at Cannes. What did you think of this trailer?
I just watched this trailer like 10 minutes before we started recording, but it was a great trailer. It looks like a very interesting movie. I mean, the writer of Sicario and Hell or High Water, those two movies were fucking great. But it seems like the movie, the way the trailer goes is it kind of presents a feeling of solitude, which it is. It's like in the Wyoming like wilderness. Like there's fucking nothing up there.
Yeah.
And so here's one of the quotes, like Elizabeth Olsen says, there are 6 officers trying to cover a square of Indian territory that's the size of Rhode Island. Yeah. 6 officers, and she's like the 7th. She's an FBI agent, like trying to help the local law enforcement. And throughout the trailer, you're getting flashes of like information that like homicides and murders like usually never get solved in areas like these because there's like fucking nobody there. So even in this trailer, you can feel the sense of solitude and feel the sense of such a large area with kind of, not knowing who to trust and stuff like that because there are so little people in such a big area. And this trailer did a really great job at presenting what the environment and what the feel of this movie is going to be. So I really enjoyed this trailer, and I'm kind of even more excited with the movie itself. Great casting, Elizabeth Olsen and Jeremy Renner teaming up again. They're both Avengers, so that's really cool. And I'm excited for this movie. What did you think?
I think their chemistry will be really good because they have great moments in Civil War. Mm-hmm. Taylor Sheridan is maybe my favorite, besides, obviously the choices of Christopher Nolan and Tarantino, but he might be the hottest writer going right now, and I'm interested to see him take the director's chair in this one. But he's really good at crafting, just from a writer standpoint, his dialogue is always really intense and subtle. There's not always a lot of dialogue, but it's really meaningful. Like the Jeremy Renner's 2 closing lines of the trailer are, luck lives in the city, luck don't live out here. And he's talking about finding the case. And that's just, I think that's so reminiscent of the past 2 movies he's written, where it's just like they've got those catchy phrases that make these characters seem super badass. And this movie is completing he calls it his trilogy of the frontier. They were in I guess his past 2 have kind of been in the South, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
Well, it's kind of like the Mexico kind of like cartel, like American Southwest, and then the American
Texas.
South, and then the and now the American Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
And, like 3 very harsh areas. But the thing is like, it seems like big actors want to work with this guy.
Yeah.
Like just some of the names that have been in his films, Emily Blunt
We
and
didn't
Josh
we didn't
Brolin.
mention John Bernthal, who was in Sicario briefly. He also has another role in this.
Really?
My prediction, he wasn't shown in the trailer, is he's the murderer.
Probably.
And he's in like the last 10 minutes of
Yeah.
the movie.
That's interesting. But we know that guy can kill after his role as the Punisher in
Absolutely.
Netflix's Daredevil. But the thing is like actors love this guy. It seems he's written incredible movies. Hell or High Water was amazing. Sicario was also amazing, and I love that you believe that you are where you are. Like the actors, the writing, the directing, and everything like that. You just feel like not a lot of movies do this. You don't feel entrapped in the moment and in the area for 2 hours.
They have a very realistic feel.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
see these events occurring almost.
And there's a sense of suspense, and there's a sense of like wonder and belief because you get put into these issues for 2 hours. And I'm very excited for this film. It's just the writing team and the directing. It's Taylor Sheridan. Love the guy. I've loved the work that he's done so far, so we'll see how he keeps going here.
Mm-hmm. You want the last bit?
Absolutely. Okay, so the last bit of news here. I just found out about this kind of late last night, but really looked into the project early this morning. So it came out, social media. That's how a lot of shit comes out nowadays. So J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series and screenwriter for the Fantastic Beasts series, approved a fan film to make a film about a younger Voldemort, Tom Riddle, after his years at Hogwarts and before his reign as the Dark Lord and the story that we know in the Harry Potter series. The trailer dropped yesterday, and it is huge and crawling about the internet right now, and support pages and a GoFundMe page or something like that are on the internet right now to help these people out. They released a teaser trailer, and the creators of this film want to have it out by the end of this year or maybe next year, I think. But it looks really good. I mean, it just, some of the effects were shown in the trailer of spells and everything like that, and it looks insane. It looks like, like matches right up with the Harry Potter saga, and it's going to tell Tom Riddle's story, kind of the uncharted part of Tom's story that people don't know. And there's this new character. Her name is like...
She's the heir to Hogwarts.
Yeah, she's like the heir to Godric Gryffindor.
I'm
somehow.
sorry. Gryffindor.
And the film is called Voldemort, Rise of the Heir, or Origins of the Heir. Obviously, Voldemort is the heir of Slytherin. So there's going to be the heir of Gryffindor, which kind of in the books is established as Harry, but another heir of Gryffindor who might be a direct descendant. I don't know. These fans are going to figure it out. But it just seems really interesting. What do you think about this?
I want them to put forth a see what I'm cautiously optimistic, because if they do this and it's a success, everyone who's involved in the project will be a breakthrough. The actors, the directors, the writers. I just have trouble believing. I think they definitely will be able to capture some cool wand fights and everything. It's hard for me to picture someone pulling off Voldemort, because I think you need a lot of chops to play that role. So I hope this is great, and I'm really intrigued. I think this story can be told really well because, like you said, it's an uncharted territory.
Yeah. And it's getting kind of into stuff that we haven't seen, and like if you're a fan of Harry Potter like I am, you shouldn't be as worried as like, this isn't canon. These are fans just kind of making something. It's a passion project, and it's not like The Cursed Child play from last year, which kind of turned out to be a disaster. With the story, because now people are just like, okay, the play shouldn't have ever been a thing. They should have just stopped it right.
This
at the
is
end
lower
of book
profile
7.
though, which is a lot better.
This is social media, and it's not like J.K. Rowling's involved. She just told these fans, like, hell yeah, like, go ahead, you can use my characters, go ahead. So this is being made by Triangle Films, Tryangle. You can follow them on Instagram. They and in their Instagram bio, they have the link to their email and to their pages to go help them. But they currently have 14,500 followers on Instagram, and that number's grown over the weekend. And I'm thinking that's going to keep rising. Like, people are hearing about this and people are loving this idea. As a Harry Potter fan, I'm very excited. I want to see what these guys can do. And considering this came out, like, who's ever, Triangle Films is doing their publication here to try and get the word for this film out. It's Harry Potter weekend right now on ABC Family.
I want to see how Voldemort got deformed.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're going to show.
Yeah.
At the end of this teaser, they show his eyes turning red, because, Voldemort described in the book, he used to be a handsome kid that kind of, eerily looked similar to Harry, people told Harry in the books. And then all of a sudden he turned into a snake person. And I think that came just with, like, murdering and ripping his soul into pieces. And we're going to see some of that happening. We're going to see some of the murders that turned Voldemort into the Dark Lord. So very interesting. I'm happy for those fans making that fan project, and keep your ears open for that, and go and support that page if you want to. That's Triangle Films, Tryangle Films on Instagram. Check them out, and support the Voldemort project because it looks awesome. All right, that
wraps up our news.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into our Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales review. We're going to do a spoiler-free review, and then we're going to give our rating. Ryan sent us his rating this morning so we can average out our rating as a whole to the podcast, and then, let you guys make the opinion for yourself when you go and see this movie. Now, let's get into it. I'll start with my positives of this film. I'm a huge Pirates of the Caribbean fan. Ever since we kind of talked about trailers for this movie on the podcast before, I've always, have been in huge support of this movie. And, I'm just a fan of the Pirates movies. And since the fourth one, On Stranger Tides, as it's called, was a movie that kind of isn't well renowned amongst Pirates fans. And I'm with them. It just didn't have Will Turner in it. It didn't have Elizabeth Swann in it. And it just didn't feel like Pirates. What this movie did is I thought it captured the same kind of heart and kind of, like, it felt like a Pirates movie again. And, it kind of consistently kept that way. At some points it's trailed off and became more fantasy, kind of like the fourth one, but still overall, I enjoyed this movie because it felt like a Pirates movie. Then I'm going to say Javier Bardem as Captain Salazar was awesome. Jeffrey Rush as Hector Barbosa was awesome. I'd say the cast generally was really good. Jack Sparrow's Jack Sparrow. He's kind of turned into a giant character for these Pirates movies, and it's just more of the same with him. But I think overall, I might have some bias just being a fan of this series, and it was better, I thought, in my opinion, than the fourth one. So I kind of enjoyed it way more than a lot of other people do. So I just liked how they captured some of the essence of the original Pirates trilogy, kind of brought it here and made it feel like a Pirates movie again. It kind of made me sit there and enjoy the movie more than a lot of other people did. So those are my positives. What are your positives?
Well, you talked about there's a lot of nostalgia in this movie. There's a
Yeah.
lot of homages to the original, and that is what I enjoyed a lot about it. I loved whenever the theme kicked in.
Yeah, the score was awesome. But the original score was done by Hans Zimmer, but this wasn't. I don't know the name of the guy who
Well,
did
did
it.
they use the original?
But they used the original score
yeah,
from Hans Zimmer. Yeah.
Exactly. So I enjoyed the I enjoyed the nostalgia. There's a lot of moments where you're like, oh, old characters reconnecting and stuff like. There's stuff that kind of tugged at your heartstrings a little bit, because the first Pirates movie, I like 2 and 3. The first Pirates movie is one of my favorite fantasy adventure movies of all time. Lot of nostalgia there, and every time Barbossa and Jack Sparrow are on screen, I get a fuzzy feeling in my stomach.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of those moments in this movie, which was cool. You could definitely tell they were trying to. They called this movie a soft reboot, which it was. I think
I'd
they
say so.
accomplished that.
I think they really played it safe. If it's nowhere near the quality of this movie, but they really kind of pulled an episode 7 if I'm comparing it to the Star Wars. Because like episode 7 are saying like the way they did that movie was kind of playing it safe and kind of almost rehashing the story of A New Hope.
It had at the center of it. It's a revenge story by the villain,
exactly,
and that's what both of them are like. You talked about Javier Bardem. These Pirates movies always have an interesting villain. Barbossa in the first one, now an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Davy Jones in 2 and 3, and then the fourth one. It maybe not a great movie, but Ian McShane is awesome as Blackbeard, and I loved Bardem as Captain Salazar. I thought he was really menacing, and he really embraced the character. I thought he was having a lot of fun while playing it, because he got to be a little over the top and kind of do his own thing, it felt like. That's what I really liked. And then the last 20 minutes, I would say, was my favorite part of this movie. The end battle is a lot of fun. The Pirates movies always have great, really fun. They never disappoint me on their action sequences.
And they followed the same kind of thing. Like there's always like a kind of a big beginning that always brings in Jack Sparrow doing something crazy, and then there's like a few days on a ship, and then they get to their place, and then there's a huge battle, and then that's the end. And the fourth one was different in that way as well. I mean, it still had that opening with Sparrow, but the fourth one was different because they're kind of the big climactic.
Is that the Fountain of Youth?
Yeah, and the big climactic battle was kind of underwhelming, and I think it kind of left that film, not so good of a taste in people's mouths.
It didn't end on a high note.
Exactly. So that's what this movie did well. It kind of brought back the old kind of Pirates formula that the original 3 had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I mean those are the positives, but Dan definitely enjoyed this movie a lot more than Ryan and I did. I got quite a few negatives, and personally, my biggest one, which kept taking me out of the movie, was the tone. The first few movies have this dark. They're dark comedies almost.
Yeah.
Is what I describe them as. And this one feels like campy. It's just like there's jokes in every scene that don't really land, and it kind of diminishes some characters in previous movies that I think were highlights. People like Gibbs and Scrum, played by Stephen Graham in the last one, who was he was goofy in that one, but he was just too much in this one too. And I don't the tone really, but every time Bardem was on scene, it had like a serious tone.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of jokes, and that's what I enjoyed. And then when it was Sparrow, it's just like him juggling and falling and making jokes. And some of them were some of the jokes I would say were funny, but like 90% for me just fell flat, and I was like, is this really what it's kind of become? It's become a lot more lighthearted and just this goofy fantasy that Jack, I don't. What am I trying to say?
I'd say the main characters kept this movie alive. Barbossa, Jack Sparrow, Captain Salazar, the new characters. What's her name? Something Smith.
You don't learn it later into the movie. And then Henry.
Yeah,
Who
Henry Turner, who is the son of Will and Elizabeth, and they kind of kept the movie alive. But the other characters, like even Gibbs, kind of became like a distraction to the to the tone of the movie. But I'd say the main cast, Sparrow got a little bit more goofy than he normally does.
Well,
but overall, I still enjoyed every moment he was on the screen because he's Jack Sparrow, But like some of the side characters, like the side mates, to even to Captain Salazar's team, were just kind of like why are you guys here? Like there was.
You see, this is where I disagree on Jack Sparrow, who I will never dislike because he holds such a big place in my childhood. But I don't like what he's become because he's just become almost slapstick comedy. Essentially, he's just become slapstick comedy. If you watch the first movie, he always is able to get himself out of something, but he's not as comedic. He's sly. And I think there's a big difference there. He comes off silly in these ones, and he comes off quick-witted in the other ones. And that was the thing that that was the thing that stuck with me most, and that's what I really hate to say. Sorry, guys, I'm burping. I don't really like to see a character like that get so different and off-kilter what it normally was. And then we've kind of flushed it out a little bit already, but
the chick's name is Karina.
Yeah,
I just
after a
that.
store.
Yeah.
Star. I can't speak today. My last negative is there was just a lot of plot points. And I think the movie could have been a bit tighter if you'd have cut out some of the segments.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's one of my negatives, I'd say, is, it was one of my positives that it got back to that nostalgic Pirates feel. But in that, they tried to bring back the British, like after Pirates 3, Commodore Norrington was gone. And there was just, in the fourth one, I don't recall.
I don't know why they need the British in every movie. So in the first one, it's Norrington. In the second one and third one, it's Beckett, the East India Company guy. And the fourth one, Barbossa is fucking working for the
and it's like,
which makes no sense for the British.
No, well, for Barbossa, just the way he is as a character. And I understand why, because like the Pirates is supposed to be during the British Empire and the British run the world. But the thing is in this movie, they tried to make the British a powerhouse, and they tried to kind of. There's always a third. Usually the way it goes is there's the Black Pearl and Jack Sparrow's squad, and I'll throw Barbossa's ship into there, and then there's the bad guy's ship, and then there's the British ship, and this movie went back to that. But the British had no part in being in this movie. They were just kind of forced in there. And I'd say that was a negative for me because it was absolutely thrown in there. Like, you put them in there, you introduced kind of like the British character in the beginning when they arrest Jack Sparrow, they arrest Henry Turner, and they arrest Karina Smith. And that guy seems like he's going to be kind of the Commodore Norrington type, and he's going to be, the big British guy. And then when the British kind of become, spoiler here, when the British become insignificant halfway through the movie, then it's just like, why did I get introduced to him in the first place?
Much time?
Exactly.
Like that, that you guys won't have any idea what we're talking about. That witch that comes up to the British to tell them something.
Was she in the fourth one?
I can't remember.
I think she might have been, but I really don't know.
It was kind of bizarre.
I'm thinking, okay, this isn't a spoiler. This was all over the internet. There's a post-credit scene, and there's probably going to be a 6 Pirates movie. If she isn't involved in that, then she is a wasted plot point again for this movie. Because, she was just gone to for advice by Barbossa and to the British, and then she wasn't seen on screen again, and that was about a half hour into the movie, and then there was still about an hour and a half left to where she wasn't in at all. Mm-hmm. So that was just kind of random, and if she isn't involved in the 6 Pirates project, if they go forward with it, then that was just kind of a wasted plot point.
Yeah, so I mean, we can harp on it all day, going back and forth. But what are you officially rating the movie?
I'm between a 3 and a 3.5. If I gave it that 3.5, I'd say it's because I'm a fan and they went back to that old formula. And I enjoyed this movie, and it had a huge box office this weekend, and it's really mixed. There are people that really enjoy it. And there are people that really just kind of thought it was like the fourth one all over again. I'm leaning more towards the positive side, and I'm gonna give it like 3.5 Goldblums out of 5 around the fly, maybe up towards Independence Day on a good day because of that nostalgic feel. But yeah, that's my rating. What's yours?
I'm at a 2. I was very, very disappointed. I have a whole note sheet here of the negatives, but I'd just be getting into spoilers if I went over them. I just think that the movie was written very sloppy, and there's a lot of action moments, and maybe there's a lot of cool action moments that overcome that, and some actors make the movie, like Jeffrey Rush and Javier Bardem, make their characters maybe a little better than they actually are in the movie. That's not a negative. That is what they did well. So I'm at around 2, and I didn't get to talk to Ryan much about it, but he fucking hated it and he gave it a 1. So he, that's his opinion,
and he's welcome to it. But it's better than Independence Day Resurgence.
Well, I mean, it's
his opinion.
Yeah, it's his opinion.
I can't say what other people's opinions are wrong, and I'm not doing that at all. But with all that averaged out, it's at about like a 2.3, which is in between the shitty movie, whatever it
Buckaroo
is, Buckaroo Banzai and The Fly. Pirates fans, you'll
wait. Did we even say 2.3 Goldblums, or are we just saying
2.3 Goldblums?
Goldblums. We got to specify that, because I think we were just saying, out of 5. This is the
Goldblum.
This is the
scale. Goldblum scale. This is the unofficially, as of right now, trademarked Goldblum scale by the Creatively Challenged podcast. This is at about a 2.3 Goldblums out of 5. Kind of, if you're a Pirates fan, you'll enjoy it more. As a moviegoer, you might not as enjoy it, but that could flip-flop. There's really been mixed ratings. Go see it for yourself, or maybe wait till it's on DVD. I don't know. It's up to you. There is a post-credit scene, though. Stick around after the credits to check that out. There's probably going to be a Pirates 6, and this movie could need that redemption, but if it doesn't get, out there, if it doesn't set sail...
Hey.
What are we doing? if Pirates 6 doesn't set sail, then I'm kind of disappointed that it had a post-credit scene, but this movie will make enough money to where people will go see a 6th one. I know I will.
Yeah, I'm always going to pay. Like, they're Pirates movies.
The way that this one ended, though, I almost wanted more because, I don't want to get into spoilers into why I wanted more, but it's related to Elizabeth Swann and, well, she's Elizabeth Turner, and Will Turner and his son and Karina Smith going forward. They're probably going to be a plot point for Pirates 6, and they're going to be a majority of it. But they said they're not going to do the Pirates 6 if Johnny Depp isn't involved, but he'll probably be involved. So within the next, 5 years, there's probably going to be a Pirates 6, and I don't know.
More than likely. I mean, we'll see. I think we've talked about it enough. Let's finish this fucker off.
Absolutely. All right. So, one of the most enjoyed topics on one of our previous podcasts was the would you rather subjects, and we kind of wanted to get back and kind of do some recurring segments to kind of keep in a line and make sure we're capital P podcasters here. We want to be legit. So we're going to do the recurring segments a little bit. There might be some older ones that people enjoyed that we've gotten some positive feedback on that might be coming back as a recurring segments. But I don't know. You guys can let us know in comments what you guys want to see. And if there's any new segments you guys want to see us do, absolutely let us know that as well. But we're going to do the Would You Rathers. Now, got a few pulled up here. I'll send it to you since I've got them pulled. Do you have any pulled up?
No.
All right.
How many do you have?
I've just got a whole fucking like page. Like,
all right, then we'll just go off
okay,
that.
so I'll throw them to you. You can answer first every time, and then I can go.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Would you rather lose all of your money and valuables, or all of the pictures you have ever taken?
Pictures. I'm not a pictures guy. I mean, I take them, but I mean, I'm not that keen on sticking to pictures. I much more value money because I lose all those photos and I could just buy a new camera and start fresh. I mean, a lot of those moments are in my head. I got a pretty good memory. Yeah, I would definitely say that money gets me through the day.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. The thing is like, money and valuables, that's kind of what's keeping you alive. I mean, not to be, attached to objects so much to where like I need my computer and my PlayStation 4 to be alive. But the thing is some of the best moments in life aren't captured on pictures. You got to save some of those for your head. And, like I went to go see Paul McCartney at Lollapalooza a couple years ago. And that was one of the greatest concerts, probably the greatest concert I'll ever go to. Just biased as a Beatles fan. Like, that was fucking incredible. I got to see a Beatle live. I took one video of
the fireworks, right?
Of the fireworks. I two videos. I did fireworks during Live and Let Die. I did Hey Jude because we did na 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 Hey Jude for like 10 straight minutes as a crowd, and it was the fucking greatest thing ever. And I took two like 10-second Snapchat stories for those because I had time, because they were just awesomely played. Everything other than that is still up here. I remember the set list. Like anytime I hear the songs come on the radio, and you can
you know what I value more too is I like having a good memory, not only because I can remember what places look like and stuff like that, but mainly my most cherished memories aren't through photos. It's from like stuff you and I'll say that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So like stuff I can requote. I value that more than a picture.
Because the thing is like, if you can be with people who make those memories come back, that's what makes them better. I mean, photographs are great, but some of the best moments in life aren't captured on photographs.
Yeah.
So we're on the same toe there. Okay. Would you rather be famous when you are alive and forgotten when you die, or unknown when you are alive but famous after you die?
Famous when you live and then you're like forgotten about, and then or not famous while you live and then famous after.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into the famous after. A legacy's cool. Legacy's cool of being remembered and talked about after you're there. Because I also would feel like if I was famous, I feel like it comes with a lot of people. You become a little narcissistic and full of yourself, and I wouldn't ever want to become that. So maybe that's just the pessimistic side to look at it, but I'd like to have a legacy after. I think that'd be super cool.
I don't know. I'm in the middle in this one. Like, if I want to get too deep into it and talk about the afterlife and everything like that, I think, being widely known would be really cool, because then your afterlife, if there is an afterlife, you spend that kind of with your loved ones. So then you kind of have the rest of eternity, if there is that, with the people that, really mattered. But then when you're famous, it depends on how you handle it. I'm not saying I could handle fame. I don't think I could. That's a tough thing to do, and one of kind of kind of an underrated aspect when it comes to famous people. These people are fucking ridiculed and fucking E-News and
I wouldn't want to be followed like that.
No, like yeah. I do like my privacy a lot, and that'd be tough to live with. That's why I say on the fence, because I feel like some days I'd like to be well known. But a legacy after I die, for whatever I'm being remembered for, is, to show up in history books and to have like fucking Casimir Pulaski. Like, we're both from, Chicagoland area, and there's a huge Polish the population in Chicago. And so there's this guy named Casimir Pulaski who not a lot of people, unless you're from Chicago, know. But we get a fucking day off of school, in high school and grade school, because there's such a huge fucking Polish population in Chicago, and Kazimierz Pulaski means a lot to Polish. But everywhere else, like, you know, like nobody knows who this guy is.
Hey, I love him. I'm a Polish guy.
But I love Kazimierz Pulaski because that motherfucker gives us a day off of school every year. And I just like, yeah, that's my boy. So like Kazimierz Pulaski was probably like, you know, just kind of like a guy in the army, like, but now in his death, like there are just kids all over Illinois who love this guy because you get a day off of school for this guy. So that'd be really cool. I don't know. I see positives and negatives for both. But you know, I'm on the fence. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could just picture myself punching a paparazzi guy in the face.
Yeah.
And then that's no good. You're in some trouble there.
Would you rather be this is dark. Would you rather accidentally be responsible for the death of a child or accidentally be responsible for the deaths of 3 adults? It's fucking dark, dude.
A child.
Why?
One child, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that child, you know, maybe their life's cut short, but I'm saving 2 other lives is how I'm seeing that one.
This one's terrible.
You're responsible for either one, though, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm driving my car and my kid flies through the windshield type of thing.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It's like it's casual.
Like it doesn't matter who the kid is. Like you're just responsible for the death of the kid, or you're responsible for the death of 3 adults.
Well, I'd have to know
matter
the
who
age
3
of those adults
are.
If they're like, if we're 60 and up, is probably elderly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do the kid.
Okay.
I do the kid in.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's on accident, right? Like I'm not blowing his head off with a
yeah,
shot.
and I don't know. This one's kind of vague because it's like, do you get vehicular manslaughter and you go to fucking jail anyway? Like that's stupid. Like, fuck that kid. All right, I'm killing the kid.
Or like he like drowns in my pool.
Yeah, fuck that kid. Okay, like you know he ate like a burger. Like I'm, you know, like he's one of my fucking.
Or
he's
leave
one
a
of my
plastic bag on the ground and he puts it on his head.
Because he's a fucking stupid kid. Here's the thing. Okay, so I'm thinking this kid's like my son's friend, and he's like a fucking idiot. Okay, and then the thing is like
we're justifying the death of a child.
Yeah. So what? You know, like we said a couple episodes ago, if you're offended by this, just go fucking listen to NPR because we don't want you. You know, here's this kid. He's probably a fucking son to a friend of my son, and I'm a cool dad. I'm grilling burgers and I'm serving my son and his friend burgers on in our pool and everything like that. And so this kid just fucking eats a monster burger, you know, because I'm only letting my son be friends with people who let their kids eat burgers. Like, I don't want my son to be friends with a fucking vegetarian or
those vegan people.
Or those fucking, like, hey, my kid's allergic to burgers. Like, fuck you. Okay, so that my son's not being friends with those assholes. So this kid eats a monster burger, and then he goes swimming, like, not out after a half an hour. So he's feeling kind of heavy and shitty in the pool. You know, all of a sudden, he just goes underwater, and he just fucking drowns to death. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus, fuck, there's a dead kid in my pool. And then, you know, I mean, that's not my fault. You know, I'm not getting, like, charged with vehicular manslaughter because there's no vehicle involved here. This is just, this kid just couldn't handle the burger and the swimming. So, yeah, that's how that kid dies. So that's okay.
We've said our piece on that one. We might get in trouble.
We'd rather kill kids. Okay. Okay, here's kind of another like spotlight one. Would you rather the general public think you are a horrible person but your family be very proud of you, or your family think you are a horrible person but the general public be very proud of you?
Oh, I'd rather think the general public I was a horrible person.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about their opinions.
That's kind of how I live now.
Yeah, exactly.
not really. Like, I mean, the majority of people we meet don't like hate us.
No,
but
some.
I mean, well, yeah, some.
When you're talking about kids dying, you're not gonna be on everyone's list.
Yeah, but you know, like it's you know, out of anything. I mean, my closest friends and my family's opinions matter the most to me, and it'd suck having them think I was a shitty person when fucking Joe Schmo down the block thinks I'm a good person.
Yeah.
You know? So I'd much rather have my family and friends.
So we're on the same page.
Absolutely. All right. We're gonna have one where we differ on because we think too much alike.
We almost differ on the legacy one.
Yeah, and we differed on Pirates today, so maybe it's good that we're on the same page for these. Would you rather have would you rather be the first person to explore a planet or be the inventor of a drug that cures a deadly disease?
The drug. Although both are kind of looking out for humanity.
Yeah.
But I feel like the drug is like a right now thing. Something that I would see in my lifetime. I feel like if I like found a planet, I would like not see the result. You know?
Yeah, well, the as long as there's not a fucking xenomorph on the planet, I'm going planet. Just as long as, I don't get eaten by the alien. Because then the thing is what I'm thinking here is that disease is the one that's killing Earth, and I got to go find the planet to like do it because there's no cure. And I'm no fucking scientist. I'd say I'm more of an explorer than a scientist. So I'd go and find the planet to explore and make sure that all the healthy people can come and live here, and then fuck everybody else.
All the fat guys could stay.
Yeah,
and we'd probably get left behind.
Yeah, because I'm husky.
Two more. We'll do two more.
Okay. Would you rather find your true love or a suitcase with $5 million inside?
$5 million? Because there's a horrible way to look at it.
Could get you in trouble.
This is... the true
we
love,
show our future wives this podcast like at some point in time.
The true love would be the true love would be great.
But
great. It's $5 million. You can buy a lot of cool shit with $5 million.
Yeah, you could. You could.
And maybe some attractive women come around. Maybe they don't mean
That's
anything.
Not true love though. Okay. All right. Jesus. All right. I'm gonna say I'm on the fence here on this one. I'm not gonna, get myself into deep shit here, but I'll give the positives of both here. All right. Let me think about this for a second.
$5 million is $5 million.
All right. $5 million is $5 million. There's a positive there. True love. Here's the thing about true love is, I want to marry somebody I love. Somebody that I can disagree with, and occasionally just argue about stuff we disagree on. But then at the end of the day, I'm married to you and I love you and I want to be together with you. So my true love, I feel like, is too Romeo and Juliet-y. Like, I don't think I could be with somebody that just fucking agrees with me all the time and like wants to do everything that I want to do.
Yeah, I don't think that's what true love necessarily is, though. I feel like
I think the way I view true love is that like, oh, you're fucking perfect for each other and you want to do everything together and you want to do all that. Like the thing is I want to marry a girl who loves sports, but like, like the thing is like I'm fucking nuts about the Bulls, Chicago Bulls. That's kind of like my thing, and like my wife is going to have to love me for being a fucking nut about the Bulls. I've screamed at televisions before. I mean, like, I'd say the one team I get fucking nuts about is the Bulls. So, this chick is just going to have to put up with it. I feel like my true love, like the Romeo and Juliet, the way I view true love
with you.
Would be yelling with me just as an act. Like, just to kind of fucking...
Or she's as passionate as you.
Well, fuck that. All right. So the $5 million, I think $5 million is $5 million.
It's kind of cool.
It's really cool. You buy a lot of shit. I pay for college. I could fucking not work a day in my life. I could,
You'd have to be conservative with that spending, though. Well, and
yeah,
that's necessarily saying the government doesn't find it either, right?
Yeah. And I am a shitty fucking spender. I just spend money fucking willy-nilly. I am, yeah.
$5 million, $5 million.
$5 million. I don't think I would blow.
I just
$5
don't want
million.
Javier Bardem coming after me like No
and-
Country for Old Men.
Yeah, and then shooting me with a fucking nail fucking thing. Yeah, that'd be nuts.
One more.
Okay. Hold on, let me
I
find
kind of want it to be dirty. If you can find a dirty one.
Page of one. Okay. All right. Some of these are fucking stupid. Let me just read one.
Would you rather
have to do
be
that.
a spider
Would you rather
or be a web?
All right. Would you?
I don't have a pen. Fuck.
Okay. Jesus fuck. There are so many of these. Okay. Would you rather get one free round trip international plane ticket every year or be able to fly domestic anytime for free?
Say it again?
Would you rather get one free round trip international plane ticket once every year or be able to fly domestically for free?
Domestically for free. There's a lot of cool places I want to go to all the states. So I think I'd do domestically because I could check that off pretty easily.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Like international would be cool, and once a year, like you're not really going somewhere that often. But there are really only like 4 to 5 places worldwide that I want to see. I want to go to like Australia, New Zealand, and that could be done in one trip. So that's only one trip. I want to see like Ireland, and then I want to see London. And London, I'd probably go do like a couple of European countries because you can fucking do Europe in like a week and just drive. So like there aren't a lot of places that I want to see necessarily. Like I don't want to fucking go to Mexico. Like, I don't want to go to South America, really. Like
Mexico's fun if you're at a resort.
Yeah, but only if you're at a resort.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, it's not good.
It's pretty dangerous.
And, so I want to go international, but only a handful of places. Like, I like where I'm at, So domestically for free, you just go anywhere in the States, like fucking Boston. Love Boston. I got family out there. Like, you just go there anytime I want. I go down to fucking Florida for free and then go to Disney World. Then all I have to worry about is, like, the expenses on Disney World and not have to worry about the plane ticket. That's, like, usually, like, fucking a couple $100.
Yeah.
Or you go out
and you could do, like last-minute things. Like, I'm going to go surprise my friend.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Or you just, You're on a date and you just say, hey, you want to go get lunch? And then all of a sudden you're in Philadelphia eating cheesesteaks for lunch. You just fucking go.
Is that all you're eating?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was this week's episode.
That's the end of this week's podcast. Jesus, that's how we're going to end it. All right. Remember, Jesus. Okay. That's this week's podcast here, Creatively Challenged. Just me and Mike this week. Come back next week. Listen to our older episodes. Show us some love on social media. Rate and subscribe on iTunes. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel. Links are in the description. We're on Twitter and Facebook as well. As always, thank you for listening. This is Danny. That's Mike. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us.